This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
I have learned so much from him in the times that we've gotten together. And this is all about behavior modification, training your dog. Today, we're going to focus on something called recall. We touched upon that previously. We're going to go into a lot more depth on that as well today with the owner at Dare2Bond Dog Training. And it's so great to have him back with us. Jeff McJunkin is on the program. How are you doing?
Oh, great. Good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you back. And the recall thing, if I remember correctly, came up when we were talking about the extreme situation where your dog bolts, takes off, and could be a challenging situation, maybe with traffic and such. And the recall is getting your dog to come back immediately. But there's more to the word recall than just that, right?
Yeah, what we had gone over then was emergency recall. So it's something you don't use all the time, a word that you don't use all the time to get your dog to come back to you. That way they don't become background noise, and they'll respond to it every time. But what I wanted to talk about today was just your standard recall. Your standard recall. So like after you say your dog's name and get their attention, then you get them to just come to you, like in the house or wherever you're at, or in the vet's office, things like that, out in the park, or on nature hikes, things like that.
Okay, so where it's not an emergency situation, but you need your dog to come back. Let's say they're off leash and they kind of went in a different direction. Can you give us, Jeff, some examples of the non-emergency recall?
Yeah, well, being off leash, I wouldn't do that until the dog has a solid recall, because your dog will just take off. They're not going to respond when you call them.
Okay.
So you want to make sure and have a solid recall installed first. And to begin that, first you want your dog to respond to their name. You want them to look at you when you say their name. Their name doesn't mean come to you. It just means, hey, I'm talking to you, So like my German Shepherd Dexter, to get him to respond, I just started by, when I would say his name, if his ears perked, if he looked to me, treat or praise, whatever the reward is for the dog, whatever motivates them. And once they get to where they know their name really, really well, this works best as puppies, then you want them to come to you. So you say their name and then come and pat your legs, do all that stuff to make them excited to come to you, and reward it with the praise, attention, the treat, whatever. And you just start increasing that distance. But at the first, you want every time they come to you, you want it to be the greatest thing in the world. You should be better than anything they're going to find out there that they can get into. You should offer more. And some people have a problem when you get to about 5 or 10 feet away that the dog doesn't want to come back. And that's when you use what's called a training lead. And that's basically a leash, but it's really long. They're 15, 30, some are even 50 or 100 feet long. I like the 30 foot. It gives a good distance, and you can really train that recall in your backyard, without going out in public first. So you leash them and you start with small distances, 3, 4, 5 feet, get them to come back to you, and just start slowly increasing that distance as time goes, as they get better at it. And what you end up with is a dog that will respond when you say their name and ask them to come to you. They'll actually come to you. They'll be excited to see you, more excited than they are at whatever it is that's distracting them.
So I'm trying to get that visual for that leash that could be 15, 30 feet. Initially, we start with just a little bit, 5 feet, 6 feet and such. How do you get 30 feet of line out? Are we talking just go to an open field? Or I'm picturing, if there's any woods and things like that, trees, that's going to be a problem.
Well, those training leads, they don't get hung on stuff really bad. They're a wide, flat, usually black leash, and you roll it up in your hand like you would a rope or a lasso, however you want to picture it. But you just roll it up in your hand and you let out as much as you need to do the training that you're doing, to the distance that you need. And as far as them getting wrapped around in trees and stuff like that, I wouldn't suggest doing this in the woods with the training lead, but more of a field, like usually a backyard is really good. And you can even do it in a room in your house before you go into your backyard. Yeah.
Wow. At what? Okay, let's say well, let me rewind that. How do you know you're good to go with off leash or taking that longer training lead someplace else, in a public area?
Well, out in the public area, like in a dog park, something
What?
like that,
Sure.
they're still contained. Um, when your dog responds at home and on your walks, so like even when you're walking them on just a standard 6 foot lead, and you say their name and call them, they stop what they're doing and come back to you. But in your yard, once they get to about 15 feet, if all you're going to be doing is going to dog parks, about 15 to 20 feet, then I would feel comfortable letting them out in a fenced area. Now, when you're wanting to go completely off leash, like say on a nature hike, that's depends on the dog. If you have a dog who just loves coming to you every time you call them, then you're probably good to go. But if your dog is even sometimes hesitant, then I would actually recommend an e-collar, but without the prong. The goal isn't to shock them. You want the tone feature and the vibration. And that's to get their attention. Because most of the time when a dog is ignoring what we call ignoring them, this is neat. They actually did a study a couple of years ago where they put a him or I hat on some dogs, and they wanted to find out why they seem to ignore us when they hear their name. And it turns out when they're what I call lost in scent, so like they're trailing something or they found something on the ground that really has their attention and they're sniffing it, the part of their brain that controls the ears literally physically turns off like a light switch. They're not even on. Everything is focused on that scent. All the brain power has gone into that. And so they're not ignoring you. They just literally cannot hear you. And that's where that buzz, the vibration on the e-collar comes in handy. So if you're going on nature hikes, that's much more likely to happen in that situation. And you want that vibration because that overrides it. That kicks them back into, oh, what was that? And they look around and their ears cut back on and they can hear you again.
So this is not to say that you don't instill the emergency word for the recall in there too. I would think maybe you need to do that before you do anything.
Well, yeah. If you're going to be in a situation, if you like taking your dog out to your car without being on leash, which I don't recommend, but everyone's different. Everyone does what they want to do. If you're going to do things like that, then I would definitely have that emergency recall in, because if they see a cat, a squirrel, if they're prone to chase cars, or if they see someone they like across the street and they want to go say hi, your dog's life is in danger. So yeah, you want that emergency recall installed if that's the kind of situations you're going to go into.
We talked about that briefly. Can we go over that again? Because it sounds very important. And if I do remember correctly, when you had mentioned it, we're also talking about a premium treat in that situation too, right?
Yes, the jackpot reward.
Jackpot, right?
Yeah. And if you'll remember, I mentioned not giving them all of it at once, like you would give them their meal in a bowl, but presenting them the jackpot and giving it to them one at a time. So like 15, 20, 30 treats, depending on the size of the dog, and one at a time. Otherwise, they'll look at it and I got this one big treat. Or I got 15, 20, 30 treats for doing this recall. And you start that with the same concept. When the dog perks their head up towards you, their ears perk towards you in the same room, then you give them the reward. And then a few days later, you say that word, that magic word again that you only use for this, and do it from a different room. And see if they move their head or if they come towards you. That's all you want. It's just, okay, yeah, reward. And repeat this randomly, just a couple of times a week, not very often, for about a month. And at the end of that month, you should be able to, from anywhere in your house, say that word, and your dog will come from wherever they're at right straight to you, wanting that big reward. And then expand that out into your backyard, and then into your neighborhood, and then out into the world. As they say, then it's ready to take on the road.
Should you always have those premium treats with you just in case?
At first, when you're doing any training, yeah, you always want to be prepared with your treats. So you have your treat pouch. I like to keep mine behind my back, where the dogs can't see me. They just know my hand's disappeared, and I come back and they don't know which hand the treat could be in. I keep them guessing. That way they don't know. Like if you have it on your side, every time you reach to that bag, they're going to go into, I'm going to get a treat. So they'll do whatever you ask.
Right.
And yeah. So
And that can be
you want them to-
problematic too, because you reach in your pocket to get your keys, and treat's coming my way. No, I just have keys for you.
Yes, yes. And it also helps to use the silicone Ziploc bags instead of the standard Ziploc bags, because the Ziploc bags, they rattle, and the dogs learn that noise, kind of like a cat knows a can opener.
Ah,
Yeah, or they hear that food rattle in the bowl and stuff, and they come running for that. The same concept with the Ziploc bag. If they hear it rattling, they know, oh, treats, and then they'll behave better. You won't be getting a true response from them. So, but the silicone bags do not make that noise. They don't make that racket. So there's no giveaway.
what else can you tell us, Jeff, about the recall?
Recall is, man, besides it's probably more important than sit. And it's something that you have to constantly use with your dog. You want them to always respond to it. It's for safety. It's for just general behavior. It's training a dog is recall, then sit, then hand target is my order of operation. So that's the first things I teach. Because they're so important. They are by far, hands down, the most useful things you can teach your dog.
Now, when we talk about treats, the average recall, not the emergency one, just the basic one. What level of treat should be used for that?
Just your regular training treat. Like, I wouldn't use the super treat, not after it's installed. Once it's installed, just anything will work. As long as the dog enjoys it, Yeah. Cheerios. Those are great. Those are nice and cheap.
I never,
cheap. I don't mean monetarily. I mean, to the dog's mind, they're cheap.
I never even considered Cheerios. I never did. Because I'm it's got to be a treat they like. Maybe there's got to be some meat in it, blah, blah. And I'm not talking about the expense involved, but like when you have dog treats in your pocket, get smelly and, I never even thought of Cheerios. Like what simple, quick, lightweight, can have it anywhere. Like amazing.
Yeah, they're whole grain and everything, and there's not sugars and stuff in them. They're healthy.
Sure.
And they're crunchy. The dogs like the crunchy.
Yep. And you've got something that you can also throw, so we can,
Yes.
Mine catches everything. So I could just throw it there. Fabulous. Like that's never in a million years would I even think of a Cheerio. That's great.
And the Cheerios are great. And also if you're out and about with your dog and you need a snack, you can also eat them.
And then there's that.
And you'll get some funny looks from people too. I love that when people are watching what you're doing and you're throwing treats to your dog, and then you reach into the bag and you eat one or two.
Right.
The look on their face is priceless.
Because they don't know it's a Cheerio. They just see something flying to the dog. I have some questions. Should we get to those now?
Yeah.
All right, beautiful. InstantFeedbackSteve@gmail.com. You can always reach us there. Melanie in Newark, New Jersey checks in. She says, I'm looking to train my dog and I have two questions. Can you train using video, and how many sessions for a 2-year-old dog is average?
Well, it depends on what you're training and how well you are with doing the homework. If you're really good at doing your homework, your 15 minutes a day, then a week. So like, let's say that we spend an hour video session on Zoom teaching your dog to go to place. Okay, they already know how to sit. They already know how to down. Now we're going to teach them to go to this spot and sit and down. So we spend an hour, me working with you over Zoom, to teach them to do that. And I use one of my dogs as an example to walk you through it. And you get it down then. And then if you spend the 15 minutes a day working on that, like actual training, and then on top of that, just randomly through the days, using it just in daily life, then roughly a week. Most dogs, you can install a new behavior into a dog, even a 2-year-old, even a 5-year-old, in about a week, as long as you know what motivates that dog and you're consistent and patient with the training.
When you say motivates, are we back to treats again?
It could be treats. It could be the toy. Like you had mentioned, the canine unit you spoke with, they wean their dogs off of the treats and onto the rubber ball on a rope. So that's the reward. That's the treat to that dog. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And some dogs, it could be praise. Like mine, they respond to treats, praise, play, toys. They respond to everything because I make everything exciting to them. Yeah.
And ultimately, would you say you want to get to that point where you can give praise and they're happy with it. They're good with it.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You can see it in your dog's eyes. That so mine, if I give them a treat, they're wide-eyed. You can see the smile beginning on the corners of their mouths, but I get the same response if I don't have any treats with me and I call them to me and ask them to sit or down or whatever, and they do it, and then I rub their face and I love on them and I give them a hug and stuff. Yeah, I get the same wide-eyed grin and everything. Yeah, because you make it exciting. If you make it exciting, that's what they want. They want the attention from you. It's not just the treat, it's the attention. It's the praise. It's that eye contact and everything from you.
That's got to be a great feeling, Jeff, when you get to that point where your dog looks at you with happiness, admiration. You know, it's not all about paying them off to do something.
No, what happens is as you're training your dog, that's why I named my company Dare2Bond. Because as you work with your dog, that bond increases, just like with a child. When you are teaching your children and you're spending time with them, quality time, and you're having fun and you're doing things, that bond gets stronger. The same thing happens with your dog. So as you train, you're working with them. That is quality time. They're having fun, even though they're learning, they're still having fun. And that increases that bond. And that once the stronger that bond gets, the happier they are with you. More than anyone else or anything else out in the world. They want to be with you. There's even research that shows your nervous systems start to sync. And so that's why they want to be near you, because you're in sync. They're really amazing animals.
We just blazed a new trail right there, I believe. Never even considered that you become in sync with your nervous system. And I guess I'm going to think even maybe your energy level too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. My dogs, because I have Asperger's. So when I very first started working with dogs, I noticed that my energy, my nervousness and stuff was transferring to them. And no trainer I went to back then had told me anything about this. I had to learn it on my own. I discovered that if I controlled my own emotions and my own state of being, that the dog became calmer in my presence. So They definitely pick it up. I don't know if they feel it from you. I think it's more of a pheromone thing. Like we produce different chemicals as our energy changes,
sure,
for lack of a better word. And they pick up on that through scent. Because don't forget that if you can smell a drop of bleach in a glass of water, they can smell that same drop of bleach in 8 Olympic pools.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, that gland, there's a gland in their nose that is solely dedicated to processing smells and things.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah. What's the order of them picking up information? Is it smell first, then they're looking at visual cues, or are they picking up things like nervous energy and things like that? What order do you think? Because I hear it in different ways where, no, it's not just, that's not, smell, yes, important, but they're looking at you. They're picking up on body language. What do you think, 1, 2, and 3, if you put them in the top 3, what do you think it is in order?
That order will change on the situation. So when you're in training, like in a training room, in that environment, in that learning environment, they are paying attention more to your body language. So in that situation, it's sight. After sight comes the smell, because they smell the treats, and then audio. Out in the wild, if you have them out on a nature walk, they're going to be sniffing. So in that situation, smell is more important. And then you have to get their attention to you, the audio with or the vibration with the feel. If you can get them to respond to your voice and out in nature, you're doing really, really good. You've done your work at home and you've got them out there and they respond to you, the audio and then visual. So it changes situation to situation, just like the alpha dog will change situation to situation. If they're scrounging for food, scavenging, this dog will be in charge. That's the alpha. But if they're getting into a situation where there might be a fight or they might have to become defensive, then this dog will be the alpha. Yeah.
You know what?
Situational.
I left out sound. I can't believe it. Out of that list. Jasmine, Miami, asks, My puppy has tons of energy and keeps biting everything. Is this normal, and how do I redirect it?
If it's a year and a half old puppy, it's normal if it has been learned. If it's a new puppy, it's just puppies. Like if it's 3 or 4 month old or 12-week old, well, that is 3 months. Um, and to correct that, first thing I tell people to do is when your puppy nips you, does that puppy biting, you want to scream like they took your arm off. Okay, you're going for an Academy Award in an old B movie, horror movie. Okay,
Wow.
it's the worst thing that could have happened to you. And what that's doing is when they're in the litter, when they bite each other too hard, they scream, and that's how they learn bite control, bite pressure, and all those things. So you have to kind of repeat that because they're with you now. They're not with their litter anymore. They're with you, and so they're learning how hard can I bite you. But you don't want them to put their teeth on your skin or your clothes. So anytime those teeth touch you, scream. And it won't take many times at all. And that dog will be, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you, or whatever thought goes through their mind. But they learn, I shouldn't do that without having to actually punish them. You're using something that they learned in the litter,
Wow. As you're saying that, I used to do that with my dog who's now at 8. And not even know I was doing it. That would just make, ow, wow, that hurt. Oh,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he never bites. He never did bite, but when they're younger, they play a little bit. And now he knows just the right pressure. If he wants to play a little bit, he'll know. And it's kind of amazing how they can gauge how much pressure to use. Your hand is radically different than a plastic ball where he wants to chomp down on that. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bite control. That's what you're teaching them when you do that. But I teach people not to let the dog put teeth on skin at all. So mine, even if we're playing tug. So my German Shepherds, of course, they love to play tug, and we play tug with rules. They have to let go of it when I ask them to. They have to grab it when I tell them to. All those things. But if they don't let their teeth touch my skin, they learned that's a no-no. That's game's over. Everything stops. It hurts. I scream the whole nine. And something else you had mentioned in that question was the dog's energy. So we went over the puppy nipping, but the energy. So dogs need to be taught their off switch. And how I do that is assuming that the dog is already crate trained. So they love their crate. That's a good, happy place to go. Take them outside, get them worked up, play with them. You want them excited, very excited. And then you're going to take them while they're excited and put them in the crate. And I think we went over this a couple of weeks ago. Once they're in the crate and when they begin to calm down, this is teaching them their off switch, their emotional off switch, their state of energy off switch. Once they're in there, when they start to calm down, name it. So I tell mine, one of them I say, okay. Another one I say, easy. So I tell them, good, okay, or easy, good, easy. And they start calming down in the crate, and you keep reinforcing that word to that state that they're in. And also when you're just out and about, whether it's in your home or out in public with them, if they are calm beside you, again, use that word, reinforce that word, easy or okay, it's okay. Like Dexter, he's real high strung, and okay works better with him. And easy works better with my younger German Shepherd. But you want a word that is long, soothing vowels, so that your state is also staying calm. You're saying, oh, it's okay, it's easy, not calm down, because that's
or stop.
or stop that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Even if one of my dogs gets away from me, I don't yell at them to come back to me, even though they did something wrong. I want them to return every time I call them. So even in that situation, like if they go out the door when I open the door, they know they're not supposed to, but sometimes, they mess up, and I don't get mad at them and, oh, Dexter, come back here, you bad boy, all that. I'm like, Dexter, come on, be a good boy, come on. And I use a positive, it's, yeah,
That's
be excited. Come on.
That's what I'm seeing here.
I want you to come back.
It's all about the positivity, because many of us dog bolts out. Hey, come back! Hey, wait, come back!
Yeah.
Yeah, and they can pick up back to the energy, right? They pick it up.
Oh yeah. I mean, if somebody was yelling at you, mad to come to them, would you be more likely to come to them while they're screaming and yelling at you, or if they were, "Hey, it's good to see you. Why don't you come over here?" You'd be far more likely to go to the nice one than somebody, "Hey, you come over here."
Truly love your approach on all of this. And of course, as we have identified with Melanie's email and previously, you can do this virtually. You can do it for anybody, anywhere. Of course, if you're around Chattanooga, where you are, it can be in person, I'm sure. Best way to reach you, Jeff, what's that?
The phone number, 762-677-8636. Text is always great. And then the email at jeff@dare2bond.com.
Beautiful. And also, anybody has a question about anything, instantfeedbacksteve@gmail.com. As always, Jeff, thank you for the insight, the information. Really appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.